The Sports Scouting Report with Lee Brecheen. Brought to you by Medine's Collision Center in Baton Rouge. Take control, choose Medine's. Grosse Savant Lodge, south of Lake Charles, the true sportsman's paradise. Treads and Care Company in Central, the tires you need, the service you want. Harvey Auto in Shreveport, Bossier City, the name you have trusted for years. And Gage in Baton Rouge. Get better connected with Gage. Here's your host, Lee Brecheen.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Sports Scouting Report. I'm Lee Brecheen, your host. We've got a great guest, Broc Prejean, the head coach at, they call it VC, Vermilion Catholic, in Abbeville, Louisiana. If you're not from Abbeville, well, today you're going to learn about Abbeville. We're going to talk about
That's right.
Coach.
That's right.
Got two high schools, VC, Abbeville High School. Abbeville is the public school. VC with coaches at the private school, Catholic school. And I've been to the school, Coach. Small school, tight community. I'm impressed with the just everything about the school. I mean, I've walked there back when, I'm trying to remember the coach's name. That was the Wisconsin starting fullback at one time.
Oh, Russ Coons.
Russ Coons.
Yeah.
You know this, but you could tell when you walked in a room with him that he was a Big Ten football player.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know,
he looked the part.
He had a 50-pound head, and he looked like the
That's
fullback
right.
you carve up when you're born. But
That's right.
yeah,
That's
but
right.
Coons, a lot of people don't remember that, but he was a starting fullback for Wisconsin in a Rose Bowl, and he was a big-time guy, and he ended up being the head coach at VC.
Yeah, he was down here for a few years. I believe Russ is out in Texas coaching now.
Okay, and did a good job at VC. Took him to the playoffs every year.
He did. 2013 state championship under Russ. So
yeah,
he did a lot for the school for sure.
Very intense guy, as all fullbacks are. Coach,
That's right.
thank you for joining us. Tell us your daily schedule right now with summer coming up. I know spring's over, but what's your life like at Vermilion Catholic as we speak, going into July? Unbelievable. We're already in July. So
yeah. Summer's a grind. We joke about getting summers off, but that's not really the case. This is actually our off week right now. So enjoying it a little bit, but typically we're up with our female athletes start working out at 9 in the morning, and we have two groups that come in, and then our guys are out there at 3. Our freshmen come in, and then our varsity comes in at 4. And so it's a full day. It's a little longer than a typical school day, to be honest with you, but it's necessary, and the kids have been working really hard. So, when you get that kind of buy-in, you don't mind being out there with them.
teachers don't get vacation long. I tell people that all the time. I've got some friends that are obviously know a lot of coaches, and I know people that teach, but 2 months is not a long time. I mean, it's not even a full 2 months. But
No,
football
not
coaches,
at all.
it's
Not
not
at
2
all.
months at all. Like I said, it might be 1 week in 12 months. Let that sink in if you're watching the show.
That's
If you're
right. I'm not complaining by any means. We
No,
still
no,
get a
I'm
little
just
more
trying to
time
let
off
people.
than
I'm just
the
trying to let
normal
people
person,
know,
but,
because you
yeah.
never stop. You never stop.
Yeah,
You might get a Christmas day. You might get a Thanksgiving day.
that's right.
You might be playing on Thanksgiving Day.
That's the goal. That is the absolute goal. There's nothing better. Waking up at 6 in the morning for a practice on Thanksgiving Day. That is the goal.
Coach, the sign in the background, good coach can change a game, a great coach. I couldn't catch the bottom. What's the bottom say behind you?
Can change a life. That was one of those things my mom gave me a few years back. So
I like that.
Try to remind myself that it's about more than the football game.
Coach, tell everybody about you. I mean, we'll talk about Vermilion Catholic the whole show. We'll talk about your team later in the show. Tell about your coaching career. I mean, you coached at STM, St. Thomas More. Tell everybody why did you get into coaching? Anybody that you want to thank for helping you get in or mentored you? Anybody that you want to talk about? How did it all start for you as a coach?
And I've been incredibly blessed. Kind of happenstance falling into coaching. I was in college. I was 19 years old at the time, and Brad Topham, who coached baseball here at Vermilion Catholic, I saw him at an engagement party actually, and he was heading over to STM at the time, and he asked if I was interested in helping out with baseball. So I came in, I got to meet Coach Perkins, who Gary Perkins recently retired. and I met with Coach Perkins, and then I got to meet, the legendary Jim Hightower.
Oh, man.
And super nervous to meet a guy that, I've only seen. Essentially, they were the only ones on TV at the time, So I walk into the office to meet Coach Hightower, unbelievable guy. And he kind of extended the offer to let me help with football as well. And they brought me in and kind of let me get my feet wet in freshman football. And I got to say, it was probably about 2 weeks into August, working with those kids. And I was like, you know what, this is definitely the path for me. And things changed tremendously. I was blessed to spend 12 years at St. Thomas More, working under Gary, who, we won a few state championships with him in baseball, and then working under Jim, who, we could spend the whole segment talking about how great of a man Jim is, but I was very blessed to have those guys around me and kind of show me what it really takes to be a coach.
You remember this. You probably remember me showing up at STM games early.
Absolutely.
And
absolutely. We hung out in the office quite a bit.
Hung out in the office a few times, and y'all were talking.
So that was before I was even a teacher. So they joked that I spent more time at the school than the actual teachers did when I was in college. I had an understanding with my professors that this is what I want to do. So I'm going to be there all day, and I'm going to learn what it takes to do it. So I would get there. I'd get there before them some days, and I'd stay till 6 o'clock. I loved it.
I remember on game day, I knew the time where it was okay to come in and talk.
That's
right.
That
time where it's not okay.
That's right. Everybody's still in a good mood. Nobody's on edge yet.
Nobody's in team meetings yet. But I always remember going in right after y'all eat your team meal. Sometimes I ate the team meal with the team. And I'd find a chair. I think David LeBlanc would be in there and some of the other guys.
That's right.
Savoie. And I remember Hightower, he's like a professor. I mean, just very calm, not nervous, the ultimate professional. And I remember he went in his own, and he was always writing at his desk. And I remember I remember a few times me and you talking about football, or y'all would say, hey, who are other good teams in the state? And I know David was always about the linemen and who's coming up on OD line. But
that's right.
I really enjoyed hanging out with the STM staff because, I mean, y'all would always have 8 or 10 coaches in there that was just hanging out. It seemed like family.
Yeah, it was absolute brotherhood. Those are still some of my best friends today, Shane and Lance and Ryan and Dave and Coach Tidwell. They're just tremendous people. We definitely still keep in touch. I get to see them every Tuesday at 7-on-7. So me and Ryan Frederick go fishing quite a bit.
Well, for people watching the show,
that didn't go away.
You know this, but people don't remember that Hightower, it took him almost 30 years to win a title.
Yep.
You know that. And then before STM, he started out in New Roads.
That's right.
At a small school, Catholic Point Capee.
Before that, he was working at NASA.
That's
the kind of guy he is.
And people don't even realize that Jim's from California.
Absolutely. He used to ride his bike to the Coliseum. He's told us stories that it's just incredible to realize that he's now, he's been in Lafayette for so long from where he's come from, but just a tremendous, tremendous guy.
Jim, if you're watching the show at some point, appreciate all the help you've done for us too with the magazine. We'll be back with more with Coach Broc Prejean, the head coach at VC. They call it VC, Vermilion Catholic in Abbeville, Louisiana. We'll be right back.
Listen, whatever you're driving right now, Tommy Harvey wants it. Bring it in to Harvey Subaru, Lexus of Shreveport, Bossier City, or John Harvey Toyota. They're paying big bucks for all trades right now. They'll cut you a check right there. Tell them Lee sent you.
Welcome back. We've got Broc Prejean, our head coach for Vermilion Catholic. Talking to Broc, we just finished talking about his time at STM for 12 years, where he got his coaching experience. And we left out one little thing about Coach Hightower. He's probably the smartest teacher coach in the state.
That's no doubt.
No doubt.
It's not even up for debate.
He could go work for NASA again when he retires.
Yes, he could.
Coach Prejean, I'm going to throw out some famous Abbeville natives.
Okay.
Did not know this. Bobby Duhan, professional football player, Abbeville native. Sammy Kershaw.
Sammy Kershaw.
Singer,
Kaplan might claim him more than us, but it's close enough.
He resides. He lives in Abbeville, so it says that anyway. And then Dudley LeBlanc, businessman, politician. Brandon Mitchell played for the Patriots.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. I got to hold that ring one time.
Your guy Brady later in the show. I know you like Tom Brady. and also Sam Terrio, Louisiana House of Representatives, George Petty, pinup artist, Gerald Long, resided in Abbeville. I know he's from Natchitoches, but resided in Abbeville. Anthony Levine, professional football player, born in Abbeville. And there was another Mitchell, linebacker Mitchell, played at Tennessee.
Yes, Jason Mitchell.
And several baseball players have come out of Vermilion Catholic in Abbeville.
Yeah, we've had a rich tradition of baseball here in Abbeville, and it's starting to come back, which is exciting. I grew up around the parks. I talk about my dad used to drop me off at 3:00 at the public parks, and he'd pick me up at 8:30. We're out there, just watching games and playing cup baseball out there, watching the American Legion team. My brother was really big into baseball. So baseball has always been a huge part of life in Abbeville for sure.
Speaking of a famous player, I mean, he's not finished with college football. He's only in his second year, but quarterback Drew Leger, former quarterback, holds all the records. I think he's got more wins, more passing yards than any quarterback to ever come out of Vermilion Catholic, playing college ball as right currently in a small college. You never know, might move up to a bigger college, the old transfer portal, huh, Coach?
But he's we've been fortunate. Drew's been around a lot this summer, and he's kind of been the year of our young quarterbacks, and it's just good to have Drew in the building. He's a tremendous kid, unbelievable talent, but just an even better person. Drew was very instrumental in my first year as a head coach of just, being that guy, that the voice in the locker room to help me out. So Drew's always going to have a special place for me as a coach.
Over almost 10,000 passing yards and over 100 touchdowns. Coach, speaking of Drew, you saw him the other day. Tell everybody, because when he came out of high school, he was 6'2", about 185, 190, but I'm sure he's grown a lot since then.
Oh, I would give him 6'3" now for sure. And then physically, he's made some strides. He looks the part for sure. When you see him, you're looking at a college athlete right now. So, Drew's doing big things. His cousin, Ethan Leger, is likely to get drafted in this upcoming MLB draft. And depending, I guess, on where he's slotted, Ethan's also committed to Ole Miss, which is a good program to be heading to at the moment for sure.
Speaking of Mississippi programs, I've been around for 52 short years, but I've never seen a Mississippi college team win a national championship. 2 years in a row. Mississippi State wins it in 2021. Ole Miss wins it in 22. I'd have never thought 25 years ago that Ole Miss and State would win it back-to-back in baseball. And you have a former player from STM baseball that's at Ole Miss. You want to talk about that? The kid that's a pitcher from STM.
Yeah, Drew McDaniel. He's one of ours. Proud to claim that I was able to be around him and work with him. Just a tremendous talent, unbelievable pitcher, unbelievable competitor. The running joke was at times he was almost too competitive, but great kid. What an amazing experience for him. I was watching the game with the intent of seeing Ole Miss win that title, and I just wanted to see Drew be part of that splash pad of celebration on the mound, and that was great to see. As somebody that just got to be around the kid, especially the story of Ole Miss this year. Going in as essentially the last seed and then pulling it off. What an incredible thing.
Speaking of baseball, Coach, I told you this before the show, but you look like David DeLucia. You ever been told that before?
No, I haven't. I do apparently have a twin out somewhere out in Lafayette. I get that a lot.
Twins. They're going to be asking Coach for his autograph pretty soon, and some walk-on restaurants down the street or whatever. But Coach, Drew McDaniel was also a quarterback early in his career in high school, I remember, and chose baseball, like some kids do. You have to pick one, especially if that's going to be your future only. But I remember STM's had a good problem with quarterbacks over the years, huh, Coach?
Absolutely. There's been some big names come out of there that kind of all got rolling, with Matt Flores to Brandon Bazeron to Will Bellamy to Nate Cox to Caleb Holstein, obviously with Walker Howard recently. there's been a great run down the road on East Farrell for sure.
And then Jamie Howard started it all, Walker's daddy.
Absolutely.
I watched Jamie play. I'm that old. I watched him play.
Yeah.
He was a heck of a quarterback at STM. One of Jim's first teams at STM back in 90. All right, I'm already
the early 90s for sure.
92,
Yeah.
I think 92, 91, 90, 91, 92, 93, way back. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to have our head coach rejoin us, Broc Prejean, the head coach at Vermilion Catholic. We're going to talk about his team. We're going to talk about the district, about some of the teams in the district, get coaches' thoughts, how tough it is. 1A football is not easy. 2A is not easy. People think it's easy, but when we start naming some of these teams and the players they put out, it's not easy to play 1A football, not in the Lafayette area anyway. We'll be right back with more of the Sports Scouting Report.
If you need a paint job or repairs to your vehicle, go see Medine's Collision Center located in Baton Rouge, Louisiana on Kincaid Avenue. The number to call is 357-7983. That's 357-7983. Your Baton Rouge Accident Advisors.
Welcome back to the Sports Scouting Report with Broc Prejean, a head coach for Vermilion Catholic. Where is Vermilion Catholic? If you're watching this from Monroe or Shreveport, it's in Abbeville, Louisiana. Where is Abbeville? It's not far from Lafayette, but Coach, explain to everybody, it's not even 15 minutes, maybe not even 10 to Lafayette, right? It's not far.
No, it's not tremendously far. I made the commute for going on 12 years. Used to love that drive. It's not bad at all, but Abbeville is kind of the best kept secret down here. I've been a hometown kid my whole life, and this is where I plan on staying. It's a wonderful place.
I want to throw out another famous Abbeville native, and this is before my time. And I'm not a big golf person, but winner of 5 LPGA tournaments, Deb Richard, 1963 born, went to from Abbeville. So
you're making me even more proud to be here.
Hey, I didn't know they had someone that won 5 LPGA tournaments. That's hard to do. Deb Richard, and I know it's not Richard. It's got to be Richard in that area.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Coach, district, not easy to play in the district that you're in, and it changes some every now and then non-district, I know y'all play sometimes up in class, like a lot of schools do, but what's your thoughts on your non-district schedule this coming year, some of the teams?
You know, we're excited about our non-district this year. We added a few different opponents, but you know, you always want to challenge yourself early in the year, and that's what our intent is. You want to get your kids in front of good crowds and good environments, and I think we were able to accomplish that. You know, we've kind of had a standing opener with Catholic High of New Iberia in recent years, and that's been a tremendous game, I think, for both communities. You know, you can't ask for better than that week one to fill the stands. We're going to follow that up. We were able to add Ascension Episcopal this year, who, you know, was tremendously talented team last year, and I obviously know they will be again. So they're coming into Eagle Stadium week 2, and then we follow that up with Lorville. You know, and Coach Martin, thankfully, his twins have moved on, but I know they're going to be a quality ball club. And then the game that, you know, I remember probably the most from high school is going up against the ERAB Bobcats, and that's an unbelievable community game as well. So from a non-district standpoint, we're super excited. Those first 4 weeks are going to be they're going to be tough, but they're going to be fun.
Absolutely. Coach, everybody you mentioned is going to be really good next year.
Absolutely.
I mean, ERAF's got a great quarterback coming back.
They do. Lincoln, yeah.
Ascension Episcopal's got a good team coming back again. And then Catholic of New Iberia is going to have their best team in probably 3 or 4 years. Yeah. They got a 240-pound running back that you know about.
Been seeing them all summer.
Yeah, 6'2". And Coach Watney does a good job with them. So, I mean, you might have the toughest non-district 1A schedule in the state to start out. But as you know, that builds character and makes you tougher for the district, right, Coach?
Absolutely. You know, we've had a very similar schedule last year, and it paid dividends towards the end of the season. I think it helped build a lot of character in our kids and a lot of brotherhood in our kids, going through some bumps and bruises through that schedule. So we anticipate that'll be the case again. But you obviously want to win every one.
Yeah, we're going to take a break. We'll come back. We're going to talk about the district and some of the tough teams. We just mentioned 3 potential semifinal teams Coach is taking on, non-district. I mean, wow. Central Episcopal, ERAF, Catholic New Iberia. Doesn't get any tougher than that. When we come back, I'm also going to mention some famous films that were filmed in Abbeville.
Oh, now I got you.
Coach might know some of these. I'm sure he will. We'll be right back.
Be sure to take your car and truck for all your tire needs to Treads and Care Tire Company located in Central. The number to call is 331-8144. Family owned and operated since 1971. That's Treads and Care Tire Company.
Welcome back. We've got Broc Prejean, the head coach of Vermilion Catholic. They call VC if you're local. If you're in the district, they know what VC means, Vermilion Catholic High School. Great small Catholic high school. Everybody's really close. Lot of team in Vermilion Catholic. You see, over the years, Coach, it's always seemed like 25 to 40 guys or 50 guys, and it's the same 30 that play, and it just seems like there's a lot of pride there, a lot of team concept there, and there's always been some tough teams. I want to mention this before we get back. But I didn't know this, but the first season of True Detective was filmed mostly in Abbeville.
And it was definitely in the area. And when you watch it, if you're from around here, it's around this area for sure.
You see some of the people you might recognize from the area. Also, Louisiana Story was filmed there in 1948. And also The Blob.
Absolutely.
Was filmed in Abbeville. I did not know
people that still live in the city that, if you pause that VCR tape at the right moment, you get to see them.
Yeah. And then I don't know what this is, but part of Lucio Fulci's Door to Silence takes place in Abbeville. Yeah. So whatever that is. So, but anyway.
The opening scene of The Blob, if anybody ever watches it again, is actually the Vermilion Catholic Stadium.
Come on.
Pretty neat. Yeah.
Man, I'm going to have to go rent that movie. Well, can't go to Blockbuster anymore. So. Who's carrying it, Coach? I guess MeTV. I guess they would.
We can find it somewhere.
We'll find it. I'm gonna have to do that now, man. I'm on a mission. So it starts at the stadium.
Yep, it comes in through the cemetery and over the stadium.
Wow. There you go. Vermilion Catholic, The Blob, 1988, the year I got out of high school. Coach, your district, a lot of tough teams. Talk about some of the teams in the district. And I mean, every week it's tough, but talk about some of these teams. We talked non-district last segment. What do you think about district?
We've essentially been in the same district for going on 41 years now. So, it's exciting. There's a lot of competitive rivalry that exists within our district. We added Covenant Christian into the district a few years ago, and Coach Mathern's getting a good thing going over there. Central Catholic is always tough. Central Catholic is a great football team, a great football program, a great school. Hanson doesn't have the numbers we have, but I mean, I tell you what, last year they gave us everything we wanted and more.
Yeah.
Highland Baptist, Coach Hudson, I got so much respect for Coach Hudson. Yeah. What a great guy to talk to. He's become a good friend. And then we're actually adding Jeanneret back into the district this year. And so we know they're going to have some athletes and they're going to be ready to go. So it doesn't get a whole lot easier after week 4 for sure.
Coach, Central Catholic's got another, I think, stud running back.
Andrick Blackburn. Yeah, he's a heck of a player, man. He looks intimidating without pads.
I mean, you're going to face a bunch. What do you think of that? You're going to face a bunch of 6 foot tall, 230-pound running backs. This is a 1A, 2A teams. And then you're talking about Hanson, man. They're improved.
Absolutely. They had a great game plan last year. They definitely maximized the talent they had. It was 21-21 going into half last year with them. So, I expect them to continue to trend upward. So it's going to be a battle, in our district, certainly.
Every time we write about Hanson, Coach, I feel like their players have 9 years of eligibility.
Yeah.
The running backs start 4 or 5 years at Hanson. And then you're talking about Highland Baptist. Coach Hudson did a great job at New Iberia for a long time. Came over from Monroe. Like you said, great coach. Takes what he has. Great teacher of the game. Coach, I didn't know this too. I want to mention I didn't know the National Guard is located, headquarters in Abbeville.
Yes, it is. It is just down the road, actually across from my brother's house where he lives. So absolutely.
The second Battalion 256 Infantry Brigade in Abbeville, Louisiana. So much, look, for a small town, there's a lot going on.
That's right. That's right. We're not as small as people think, but we like to claim that we are.
Coach, speaking of the state, what do you observe? I know you're always looking at your district, you're looking at your schedule, but do you ever take a peek and say, okay, I want to watch some 5A ball, I want to go watch some 4A teams? Do you watch any of these other teams that, like the Karen Crows, like the Lafayette Christians? Do you ever follow them? I know you stay busy with your program.
Yeah, no, 100%. I think if you're not trying to look at other teams and see how they do things, especially successful teams like you're talking about with LCA and STM and Karen Crow and Acadiana, you got to be a student of the game before you can coach it. So absolutely. On Sundays, I'm not real big on watching football on the weekends outside of our own tapes, but when I am, it's typically another team or somebody else in the state that I can maybe get a little learning session in from.
What do you think it is about the Lafayette area, Coach? Acadiana, the metro area, going to New Iberia, going all the way to Opelousas, and all the small towns around Lafayette, like in Abbeville, like Lauraville. Everybody's competitive. I mean, you go to Monroe, it's similar. The small towns, the small teams, you don't want to play them. Same thing in the Lafayette area. But what do you think is the DNA of why it's like that? Because it's not like that everywhere in the state.
Well, I think, for me, being a guy that grew up in Abbeville, grew up at Vermilion Catholic, and always had a desire to come back, I think you have people that have such established roots in these areas, and it's such a wonderful place to live throughout Acadiana, all throughout the area, that I don't think people leave. And so you get those traditions that keep coming back. You get players who have lineages at schools, and there's a sense of pride that's just hard to replicate. 40 years, 50 years, 60 years worth of football tradition, going through the same families and the same bloodlines is just, you can't replicate that. In this area specifically, I think when people grow up here, it's hard to leave. And when they do leave, they tend to come back. So you're getting a lot of those same kids coming through schools and coming through programs, and success breeds success. When programs are successful, kids want to buy into it and be part of it.
I'm gonna tell you what, we can go all day. We can talk about Opelousas Catholic. We can talk about Franklin High School. I mean, we could talk about schools that nobody ever mentions. And look at Abbeville High School.
Yeah,
what they've done in the last year or so.
Our quarterback coach, Bobby McDonald, who quarterbacked at Nichols, his dad was the longtime Franklin head coach. So I'm well versed in Franklin's proud traditions as well. Franklin
is got a great team, and they do well. They probably got the best 25 players you ever see on a team. And you mentioned a couple of other schools we're going to talk about when we come back. We're going to talk about your team when we come back. And at the end, I want you to be able to share why you are a Tom Brady fan.
Absolutely.
We all have fans of different players. Mine growing up was Terry Bradshaw. I know I'm a fossil, but I was a Terry Bradshaw fan. I was a Drew Brees fan. I was a Brett Favre fan. I was a Bob Greasy fan, if anybody's old enough to remember that. The Dolphins. And Dan Marino. I like Dan Marino. We'll be right back.
This is going to help me to get it on public record. Why? Justify my rationale as to why I'm such a Brady fan.
We're going to let you justify that because he was on a picture on a yacht yesterday having a good time, old Tom Brady. I want to be him. We'll be right back with Coach Broc Prejean from Vermilion Catholic.
Gros Savon Lodge, the true sportsman's paradise. Gros Savon Lodge has fresh and saltwater fishing, alligator hunting, waterfowl hunting, and eco tours located south of Lake Charles, Louisiana. Give them a call at 337-598-2357. That number to call again is 337-598-2357, and have the time of your life. Gage has served Louisiana for over 40 years. Let Gage create a custom-tailored solution for your business and become your partner in technology. Give them a call today at 225-753-4243 and help your business get better connected with Gage.
Welcome back. I hope you're enjoying the show. I'd like to throw a little history out there. We got Coach Broc Prejean. This segment, we'll talk about his team. And before we end, the finale is Coach is going to justify why he's a big fan of Tom Brady, of the was the New England Patriots. Bam. Now the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It's hard to fathom. Yeah, he's not a Patriot anymore. Coach, before we get started, I keep pulling this stuff out. Another famous Abbeville alumnus, Bobby Charles Guidry, songwriter.
That's right.
And musician, wrote "See You Later, Alligator" and "Walk into New Orleans."
Yeah, when you drive into town, there's a big sign reminding you that he's from here.
Wow. And then also, the Freshwater Bayou Deepwater Channel connects Abbeville to the Gulf of Mexico. And you said you're right there at the Intercoastal Waterway, runs south of the city.
That's right. We got a lot of quality fishing down here for sure.
Coach, I wish I had time to fish. I love to fish, but it's been a while. I need to go on a fishing trip soon.
Come on down and check out the restaurants more than anything. If you don't have time to fish, we got some wonderful restaurants.
Throw a couple out. Give a couple of them a plug.
Dupuy's, Riverfront, Shucks, world famous Shucks. You know, we eat really well down here. That's what I say. Lafayette has a lot more restaurants, but I feel like we have a lot better.
They all have good shrimp, I bet, huh? All have good.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I'll eat shrimp any way you can prepare them. Coach, get into your team. Every year you lose players, and every year you return leaders. What do you think of the group coming back? You got a group that's coming back that's played a few games, some linemen, some skill guys. What do you think going into the summer? What do you have to improve on to replace what you're replacing to be ready for, Jamboree week in August?
Yeah, the luxury we have this year is just that we have a senior class that has been playing since they were sophomores, essentially, and we have a lot in that class with a ton of experience, 2 years worth of starting under their belt. So that is a positive. But we did lose a bit. We lost some wideouts, lost some key linemen. We lost our trigger man and Mikey Baser. So we definitely have spots to fill. But we had a great spring. But we have anchors, kind of everywhere. Alex Golden is coming back on the offensive line. Ashton Belair and Jake Leger at linebacker, who have been tremendous for us for 3 years. Ashton being a two-time MVP to this point. John Dortez, who had his coming out party as a freshman last year, is gonna do a lot of positive things for us. CJ Briggs out at corner. So there's a lot of holes to fill, but we have a lot of great players to fill them.
Coach, are there any more Legers coming up? Because there's a Leger.
Oh, there are Legers all over the place. Drew's little nephews, Maddox and Manning are coming down the pipe. So, we as many Legers as we can get, we'll take them.
And they're all good football players. Speaking of football, I'm not a big fan of Tom Brady. I'm a fan of that he's won 12,000 Super Bowls.
That's right.
He's got more rings than hands and fingers. He's probably the only human being that could put rings on his shoulder because he ran out of room to put them on his fingers. But you said you were a huge Tom Brady fan. It goes back to when he started, right?
Yeah, it really goes back to Kevin Falk, if I'm being honest. I was a huge Kevin Falk guy, and he got drafted by the Patriots, and at the time the Saints weren't very good. And so I said, well, you know what, I'm just going to follow with Kevin to the Patriots. And I remember my dad saying, they're not very good either, right?
Right.
And I think they went like 1-15 that first year that I claimed to be a Patriots fan. But fast forward 2 years, Bledsoe gets hurt, Brady comes in, wins a Super Bowl, and kind of the rest has been history. I love the way he conducts his business, his preparation, the way he handles the media. Just a tremendous guy, and easy to admire, easy to enjoy watching him play. And I think we're obviously we think on the twilight of his career. So, just kind of appreciate getting to watch greatness in person.
He did something no one's ever done at the age of 42, winning the Super Bowl with a new team.
And I'm hoping he's not quite done. I think he may have one more in it.
But they're putting all this talent around him. Now, Gronk retired.
Yeah.
So Gronk's finally done, the cigar guy, the guy with the TDs, the big guy. Who people don't realize this, but Gronk went to Arizona from Pennsylvania, wasn't even heavily recruited.
Right.
One of the best tight ends ever, but they are really super talented. Leonard Fournette, speaking of LSU's at Tampa Bay, Kevin Minner, obviously, Devin White, And the receiver from Archbishop Rummel, who never played football, is a wide receiver there. And speaking of the Patriots, Gottschall's there from Plaquemine High School still. And also DB from LSU is still there. A couple of DBs, Jalen Mills from Texas, from DeSoto, Texas. But when Falk was there, Coach, and Brady, you had Jarvis Green from Donaldsonville. And I know there was a lot of the late Marquise Hill was on that team. And I remember Eric Alexander was on that team for like 20 years, it seemed. But what do you think of the Patriots moving forward? I mean, people either love or hate Belichick. His personality is not like the greatest humorous guy to me, but he's a phenomenal coach. Yes. And he's a phenomenal talent evaluator. And I respect him. But what do you think? You think the Patriots will be back with the young Alabama quarterback? People don't like the word Alabama in Louisiana, but the young Alabama quarterback that may or may not be a great one.
Well, as much of a Brady fan as I am, I still follow the Patriots, and I'm still a fan of the way they go about, doing things. That simple mantra of just do your job has been a pretty effective strategy for Belichick, and his background not really being a football player per se, just kind of coming up and just being in love with the sport and what he's been able to accomplish. It's hard not to like them. And as much as people want to deny that the dynasty run is continuing, I think they'll surprise a lot of people this year.
The good thing is they still play the Jets twice a year, so they got 2 wins.
That's right.
And then the Colts are not the same, and all these other teams. AFC's kind of down. My problem is I'm a Steelers fan since 1975.
Okay.
And my guy retired at quarterback. Big Ben's done. And they drafted the guy I wanted in the draft from Pittsburgh University, the young quarterback. But this, Coach, rookie quarterbacks don't make Super Bowls. I mean, unless you're Brady.
That's right.
But Pittsburgh's. I'm at a really tough spot because the Bengals have Burrow, and I'm a Burrow fan. And then the Ravens still have a phenomenal team. And condolences to Jalen Ferguson, by the way, who passed away from Louisiana, from West Feliciana High School, Louisiana Tech. We lost him way too young. But how would you like to be in that division? Cincinnati Bengals, Joe Burrow with Jamar Chase. And you've got the Ravens with, their coach, who's a phenomenal coach. The Steelers, I don't know and the Browns are talented. They finally got rid of Baker Mayfield. I think Pittsburgh might be the worst team in the conference right now. So I might have to pick a new team soon. And the Saints, I don't see anything from the Saints this year. I really don't.
Well, they find a way to beat Tampa Bay every year, so I can't say much. I think Brady's 1-5 against them since he's been in Tampa.
But he smokes a cigar when they go to the playoffs to make the Super Bowl. He beats the Saints to go to the Super Bowl.
He won the one that mattered, I
guess. Coach, what else? You talking about you like to fish?
I do.
Salt water, fresh water, or just any fishing?
Wherever there's water, kind of deal. But no, we do a lot of fishing down in Pecan Island, which is a little south of Abbeville. Kind of our little paradise piece that we have to do some duck hunting and fishing and kind of get away from everything for a little bit. So that's what a typical free weekend looks like around here.
Some guys like to bass fish, some like to catch trout, red, some like to go deep water. Where do you evolve in the salt water? You deep or you marsh?
Oh, we're all in the marsh. We're big on crabbing around here.
Okay.
Everybody likes bald crab, so it's easy to get in that boat and throw some hand lines in the water and come back with a nice chest full of crabs. You'll be a popular person that evening, I promise.
Can't go wrong with eating bald crabs.
That's right.
Coach, any last thoughts about principal, any of your coaches that you want to throw out before we go? You want to mention any of your coaches on your staff, any of the guys that help you?
Yeah, we have a tremendous staff. We really do. Coach Brody Savoie has been with me as the O-line coach since I've been here. Just an unbelievable assistant to have around you. Coach John Thompson runs our strength and conditioning. He was a big-time recruit out of Vermilion Catholic. He actually was recruited by Spurrier over to South Carolina. Coach Bobby McDonald, who was a Nicholls State quarterback. Coach Dylan Briggs. We added Coach Jeffrey Stevens over from Gaydon. One of my former STM players, Coach Quinn Viator, was just able to get hired on. Coach Shannon Cormier. You know, we really do have a great staff. We're very blessed to have the number of coaches we have, and that's a credit to our administration. You know, we actually have a new principal coming in, and Dr. Stella Araby coming over from Catholic High New Iberia. And it's been exciting to talk to her and kind of get her vision for what the future looks like in the school. And so it's a really great time to be at Vermilion Catholic.
And look, when you go to Abbeville, take Coach up on this, and I second it. There's nothing better than eating seafood or food in Abbeville or any of these small towns around Lafayette. It's the best. You get spoiled when you can't even eat normal food again.
It's very true. We'll be going to, I think they got a live band tonight at Shuck, so that's where I'll be.
There you go, Coach. I'm gonna have to just drive over there and eat one night.
Yeah,
come home.
More than welcome.
Support Abbeville High School, support Vermilion Catholic and the schools. Appreciate Coach joining us. Don't go anywhere, Coach. We're going to end the show. This show will play on Monday, and then we'll have a show on Wednesday. We're going to continue on to promote the state schools all over. And guess what? Also, Coach's team, if you're a mom or dad watching, because we don't have them in stores, but the preview magazine will be out late August. We always mail Coach a copy, every high school coach a copy, but Vermilion will be previewed in the preview magazine, very in depth of the guys, most of the guys that are starting that me and Coach talked about a few weeks ago. They'll be in Louisiana Football Magazine. You can order your North or South copy, lafootballmagazine.com, pre-order. It won't be out till late August. And Jason and me will be promoting it next week, a little bit about when it's coming out and all that good stuff. But Coach, thank you. We'll be back.
That magazine is how Saturday morning scouts start. So that's my first go-to whenever we're looking at who we're playing.
Thank you, Coach. I appreciate that, man. And thanks for being on today. Appreciate you doing this.
I appreciate it, Lee. Thank you to Jace as well.
Okay. All right. Go Tom Brady. We'll see you later, Coach.
All right, brother.
All right.
Thanks for listening to the Sports Scouting Report podcast with Lee Brecheen.